He was an extremely bizarre billionaire. On their wedding day, he had his bride sit on a shelf for his buddies to admire. And when night fell, he didn't let her come down. Instead, he climbed up onto the shelf himself to spend time with her. Mary used to be a supermodel who caught the eye of this wealthy man during a fashion show. Swept up by Mike's passionate pursuit, they quickly fell in love and moved in together. But on this particular morning, Mary was startled awake by a strange noise. Curious, she walked into the living room and found Mike smashing holes in the wall, personally building a yellow shelf. Seeing Mary awake, Mike excitedly greeted her. Mary marveled at her husband's handiwork, assuming he was making a display for her trophies. But Mike shook his head, explaining that the shelf was made just for her. Mary quickly pointed out that her high heels were far too numerous to fit on the shelf. Unperturbed, Mike bluntly revealed that the shelf was designed to display her. He claimed this wall had the best view in the house, overlooking the pool. While working, he could simply glance up and admire Mary's beauty. At first, Mary wanted to refuse, saying she still had work to do, but Mike brushed it off, insisting she quit her job to focus on being his trophy. Sensing her hesitation, Mike showered her with compliments and promised to reward her with KFC every day if she agreed to perch on the shelf. Swayed by the lure of tasty food, Mary finally relented. She climbed the ladder to the shelf as Mike thoughtfully brought her a throw pillow. From that moment on, Mary's good looks made her a prized collectible on the shelf. Soon after, they threw a huge wedding where all the guests offered their blessings to Mary. Lost in wedded bliss, Mary felt like the luckiest woman in the world. 3 months into the marriage, Mary had gotten used to doing yoga on the shelf while Mike worked below, occasionally sneaking a peek at her. Even though her daily life revolved around the shelf, Mike always surprised her with lavish gifts. One day, a pricey diamond necklace. Another day, a vibrant bouquet. But this happiness didn't last long. One day, she eagerly anticipated her husband's surprise, only for him to casually blow her a kiss when he got home. Mary felt let down. A passing maid couldn't help cracking a few jokes.
No present today?
A kiss is still a very thoughtful gift.
She tried to console herself, figuring her husband was just too swamped with work. Yet as time passed, Mike barely glanced her way when he got home, just plopping down at his desk to bury himself in work. To get his attention, Mary started belting out songs, only to be coldly cut off by Mike telling her not to disrupt his work. Desperate, Mary got all dolled up in a princess gown, primly perched across from her husband, hoping to recaptivate his gaze. Instead, Mike just stared out the window and even had a servant rotate his desk to face away from her. Heartbroken, Mary finally realized her husband had lost interest in her. She understood then that love could truly fade away. 3 years later, Mary was still stuck on that shelf. She hadn't seen her husband in over 6 months. Unleashing her pent-up emotions, she started screaming, but no one responded. She finally resolved to get out of there. Mary took off a shoe and looked down at the floor. She'd been on the shelf so long that the height felt like a bottomless abyss, but even that couldn't stop her determination to break free.